video, I'm going to be giving you some tips to help you improve your musicality. So musicality is super important for dancers. A big part of our job as dancers is to translate the music from sound into something visual and kinesthetic. And when we watch other dancers, a dancer with good musicality is somebody who's really going to be able to draw us in to their dance and into the music, and to even bring things out in the music that maybe we, as listeners, didn't even hear were there. So, I'm going to give you 5 tips that I think will help you if you want to improve your musicality. So let's jump right in. So, before I give you the tips, let's just talk briefly about what exactly musicality is. Basically, musicality is a sensitivity to music, an ability to perceive the music on a deeper level, and also, in our case as dancers, to then express the music. So it's really a closeness to the music and, like I said, a sensitivity to the music. So how can we improve our musicality? The first tip I have, and probably the most important, is listen to a lot of music, and do not just listen passively, but listen and analyze. So when I was in high school, I sang in choir, and our choir teacher would make us do these concert reports. So every year we had to do 3 or 4 concert reports where we would go to a concert of our choice. Any kind of concert, could be classical music, could be a rock concert, pop. As long as there was music, it was fine. And we had to fill out like an entire page about each concert, and we would have to answer questions about like what pieces were played or how many, what instruments were there, what genre was it, all this stuff. And we would have to pick 2 or 3 pieces and analyze them in detail. So talking about, the beginning, middle, end, how did the piece start, what instruments were there, what were the dynamics, how loud and soft did it become, what was the overall feeling of the music, all of these kind of detailed questions to really get you to pay attention and listen to the music carefully. And yes, it was a pain at the time that we had to do it, but I'm really thankful for this exercise because it really helped me to improve my listening abilities. And I actually have a video on how to analyze music for dance, which I will link in the description to this video. It's aimed when you're making a choreography or improvisation, but if you follow those steps, it's also really good to get you listening to music carefully and breaking it down into all of the different parts that make up music and kind of looking at each one in turn. So I really recommend doing something like that to help you improve your listening abilities. And it's not easy to do this listening carefully. Like it's mentally intensive. It takes some effort. So do it for a few minutes maybe, and then if you're exhausted, take a break and come back. And it will get easier with time as you become more practiced in listening to music. But yeah, you can't express the music if you can't really hear it deeply on a deep level and understand what's going on. So, most important tip is to listen carefully to the music. Okay, tip number 2 goes kind of with tip number 1, and this is really very important for Middle Eastern music, which is to know your rhythms, right? Because rhythms are really the framework for most of the music we dance to. Not all, you do have songs that don't really have rhythms, takseens, things like that. But for the most part, the music that we're dancing to is very percussion-based. There are very strong rhythms, and there are very distinct rhythms. And rhythms that may be not rhythms we grew up with if we did not grow up in Middle Eastern environments and Middle Eastern cultures. So it's really, really important to study your rhythms. I mean, there are only, I don't know, like 10 rhythms that are used 90% of the time, I would say. Of course, there are a huge number of rhythms for sure. So that is good, but really go to the classic rhythms, you know, your Masmudi, Beledi rhythm, Malfouf. I mean, you can find lots of information on the basic rhythms. There are also lots of CDs by musicians that put things out about helping you analyze rhythms. You can find information online. Of course, I also have videos talking about how to specifically dance to different rhythms, where we do go over the rhythms, but you can find that information all over the place. And it's very, very important at least get down those, I don't know, like 10 basic rhythms so that you can recognize them without even thinking about it on a subconscious level. As soon as the rhythm comes on, your body already knows what the rhythm is, you know what to do, and it will help you so much. Okay, tip number 3, and again, this is also related to tip number 1 about listening to the music. That is to know your instruments. So, in Middle Eastern music, we have some instruments that are common in Western music, some instruments that are not. It's important to familiarize yourself with the most commonly played instruments. And I have just started a series where I talk about how to dance to those different instruments, and I kind of go into some details about those instruments. But you can also, again, find lots of information online about the instruments, and you should be able to easily recognize those basic instruments when you hear them. That's really important, and to be able to give kind of each instrument has a different feeling to it. Yeah, so that you can bring those into your dancing and it will make your dancing richer. Okay, the next 2 tips are less about the listening part and more about the expressing part. So remember, I said musicality for dancers. We've both got to be able to perceive what is going on in the music, to be sensitive to it, and then on the other hand, we need to express that, right? Because even if you're feeling a lot in the music, if we are not able to bring that into our bodies, it's just not going to come across. So we need both parts. So one tip to help you kind of find the emotion in the music that you can express would be to take a piece of music and create some other form of art that is based on that music. So one thing you could do is draw a picture of what the music, just try to visually represent the music, the emotions, maybe a music you envision like a stormy evening above a mountain or something like that, I don't know, but whatever that music kind of brings, you can try to draw a picture, or it could be even like a little storyboard, you know, because the music might change and it starts out, I don't know, it's stormy and then maybe the sun comes through the clouds, something like that, to really just get you feeling the music in a different way. Another one you can do is to create a story based on the music. So one of my violin teachers had me do this once, had me come up with a story of a piece I was playing, and I made a story about it was like a knight riding off to fight a dragon or something, because the music felt very heroic, and there was these moments where it felt like it was kind of galloping. There were these triplets, right? So you're bringing the acoustic characteristics of the music into something else. You're creating a little world. So this is really fun to do for different songs, but if you do it, probably don't do it to a song that has words. I mean, you can, but if the song already has words, there's kind of already a story there, and you don't want that to influence you. So, yeah, or if you could get creative, maybe there's some other form of art, way that you can represent the music. So that's just a good exercise to get you to experience the music in another way. And then you can bring that into your dancing, those feelings that came out when you were painting or that emotion in the story. Okay, and the last tip is a tip to help you internalize the music another way, and that is to sing the music. And it doesn't matter if you have a great singing voice or a terrible singing voice, it doesn't matter at all. You just do this on your own when no one can hear you. And the point is to really bring that music into your body in a different way from dancing. But singing, it is a physical act, and when we have to produce that music ourselves, we get to know the music better. So I know it can be maybe a little difficult or embarrassing, but again, go somewhere where nobody can hear you, you can do it quietly. But yeah, sing the music. It will also help with memorization often. It's also a good tip for learning your rhythms, is to sing the rhythms to help you internalize both the rhythm and the melody with the song. So those are 5 tips that I hope will help you improve your musicality. So to recap, the first tip was to listen attentively, listen and analyze. Tip number 2 was to know your rhythms. Tip number 3, know your instruments. Step number 4, create artwork based on the music. And step number 5, sing the music. So I hope that some or all of these tips will be helpful for you. If you have other tips that you have found have helped you with musicality, feel free to comment. I love to hear from you guys. If you did enjoy this video and you found it helpful, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, it would be great if you would subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.